In terms of those risks, though, since you are somebody who's trying to think about how this all plays out, where do you think the Fed ultimately sits in all of this? Meaning, is there a Fed put on whatever President Trump is doing if the markets continue to fall and falter? What ultimately happens here?
Said differently, I much prefer my job to Powell's job today. This is just a hard one because on the one hand, the policies that on tariff, to the extent they are not rectified quickly, have a tendency to be inflationary.
Right.
On the other hand, I don't know how that squares with the Larry Fink view of the world that we're going to have a recession, which tends not to be inflationary and would otherwise spur the Fed to do something other than deal with inflation. So I think it's a tough call for Jay Powell. But I will say the following. During COVID, the Fed was buying $100 billion in Treasury bonds a day. I think if we see a fundamental dislocation of our capital markets, which is actually the glue that keeps the economy running, that's how debt financing, that's how markets price, I would not be surprised to see the Fed step in and stabilize.
Well, how worried are you, though, that something breaks along the way?
I worry every day about everything, but I come back to it a different way. We have lived in a bubble. We've lived in an asset price bubble. We just came out of a market where credit spreads have been generationally tight. Liquidity was fundamentally available everywhere. This is not the normal state of events. A correction, a back off, is just fine.
But this is not a natural correction. This is the distinction.
Yes. Is a natural one better? Is the unexpected virus better than this? Is the crash or the internet correction better than this? This is a choice. I'm not saying it's the choice I would have made. I said I understand what they want to achieve. I think there was a better way to go about doing this. But the fact that it's a choice doesn't make it better or worse for me. The question that we're going to find out is who was prepared for this? Who was actually sitting with firepower? Who was running their business responsibly? Those people who were not running their business responsibly will suffer from this. Those who are running their business responsibly, who are not taking risk, will benefit from this. Time will tell.
Do you believe, in terms of how this gets negotiated over time, that, we just heard from Elizabeth Warren, for example, she would like to change the emergency powers. There's questions about whether the courts get involved. There's all sorts of questions about how this plays out, which, to the point of how quickly this thing does get resolved, there is some sense that if you're on the other side of the negotiation, either another country or, frankly, a company thinking about, should I be moving my manufacturing back to the U.S., you might just say, I'm just going to let this play out and watch and wait, because there's not a huge advantage to doing something immediately.
You are 100% right. But remember what we're doing. We're building infrastructure, which is already under construction. We're building semiconductor plants already under construction. We're realizing the benefits of the Inflation Reduction Act, whether we liked it or not, of $1.3 trillion of investment. We've been the largest recipients of foreign direct investment the last 3 years in a row, and we will be again this year. We're ramping defense. We're building energy. We're deregulating. All of that is already in the works, plus the pledges from TSMC and Eli Lilly and Stargate and a number of other things. So you are right. Uncertainty is an absolute negative for the economy. It's going to keep consumers. It's going to keep businesses. It's going to keep foreigners from making decisions. If it goes on for a long time, it will hurt a lot. If it goes on for a short period of time, it will not hurt a lot. We can't predict that. I have a base case, and my base case tells me that I expect the administration to resolve the financially oriented tariff deals over the near term, call it a quarter. And if we see progress of that, I think people will relax. I do not expect to see the non-tariff things negotiated quickly.